Hello, everyone, and welcome to live version of Meow Mix, a Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
Now, if you're listening to this on the podcast, it's not live.
It is not live.
Right?
No.
It's recorded live, like all those episodes of TV from long ago. But we're here to talk about the preseason Week 2 matchup, Panthers Jets. Um, Another kind of snooze fest of a game, in my opinion. But there are some positive things to take away from it. I mean, there's a few negative things too, but what do you think? Well, how did you feel the game went?
I felt comfortable with the beginning.
Mm,
And towards the end, it was just like these guys aren't making the roster. But for the most part, the guys that I felt that will contribute during the season, whether it is Terrace Marshall Jr., Jonathan Mingo, uh, Sanders, I felt like they all looked good, and they only played a few snaps, and then we're gone. I mean,
yeah,
same with DJ Johnson and Ikulieta. They're just gone.
yeah. Which is the strategy, it seems, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not going to play anybody of significance much, if at all, in the preseason, right? I don't expect to see Bryce and the starters next Sunday at 1 o'clock, our
Yeah.
final preseason game. Um, so, you know, I mean, I like it and I don't like it, right? Obviously, your two main things that you want to take away from preseason are one, you want your starter to stay healthy, and two, you want to kind of get the offense installed, and you want to check out the young guys, right?
Hmm.
Three things, I guess. Um, Two of those three things they're doing really well, right? And then the offense being installed for the starters and everything, like we're assuming that's happening in the practices and all that stuff. So
Hopefully.
yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty interesting to watch the game and see some of the young guys, particularly the running back. Was it Dylan?
Dylan, yeah, I have his name
Yeah,
up right here. Dylan Johnson, yeah.
Dylan Johnson. Yep. I really, actually, really liked watching him run. I thought he was explosive. He could break tackles. He hits the hole hard. You did get into the end zone there at the end. The Panthers' first touchdown since Christmas Eve of last year in an actual
Jeez.
game. Um, so I was very impressed by him actually. And it sort of made me wonder, like Mike Boone, we're kind of just penciling him in as a practice squad guy. If they keep two running backs, maybe they do, but I think Dylan Johnson really played well and has earned himself at least another long look next week.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think Mike Boone was penciled in, like you said. They said that they really liked him and everything, but at
Mm-hmm.
the simple fact that, Dylan came in and looked solid when he did. We do have the live chat going for the first time ever. I'm going to read up. We have 3 comments from Sexy Princess Writer. Um, Listening at work, but just wanted to say that despite the negativity online, a lot to be happy about. Mingo looked great despite the BS foul, and Marshall looked okay mostly, other than the missed touchdown. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna get into those guys mostly.
Yeah, yeah,
Mingo and Terrace Marshall Jr. and like I said, Sanders. I felt really comfortable after that second drive, and then they were gone. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I think you see from Sanders what we've been wanting to see from tight ends for the Panthers since Greg Olson left, was just being a good safety valve and kind of being reliable, right? And he's snuck out a couple of times. I think one of them was a design play, the other one was a breakdown where he did just kind of he was the guy that was open, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, so I did like that, and I like that they pulled him out too and didn't get him hurt or anything. Mingo, I thought looked good. Of course, he had one, his long play called back. Um, these double reverses that they're trying to do and jet sweeps, those don't seem to be working at all. So we're hoping that with the starters, maybe those look a little better. Um, but yeah, I mean, but positively, Jerry, I thought the secondary looked really good.
They did. They did look very good in my opinion. They showed up. They looked great and everything.
I think
I,
all of them looked good too. Like
less than 100 yards passing last night. I mean, I know there wasn't Aaron Rodgers there. That's not the point. It's second and third stringers versus second and third stringers. But for the most
yeah,
part, on both sides of the balls, those type of players will see the field this year. And it's good to know that without Dane Jackson, who's going to miss the first part of the season, without J.C. Horn, the secondary looked strong. Jamie Robinson, hats off to you, man. That penalty that was on you, I thought was complete wrong. Like, he got there right on time. I thought that was perfectly timed. He made another great play. Led the team in tackles, I believe. So, overall, great job by the secondary, like you said. Moving on to another two comments from Sexy Princess Writer, and then thank you, Brandon, for also messaging in, and I'll read your guys' quote here. Canales not trying to win a pointless game and risking injuries and instead making the guys earn a touchdown without him interfering with timeouts. Yeah, I agree. Canales, I like the fact that he's sticking with his guns of what he believes.
Yeah, I mean, in a regular season game, of course, he calls a timeout there, right, to preserve clock a little bit. But yeah, in this scenario, I think I like the way he handled it. I thought it was pretty good. And that's not one of those plays like where you say, well, you have to practice or play in the preseason like you're going to play in the regular season, in terms of coaching and things like that. No, not at all. I mean, you could see that on that final drive. They ran the ball every single play. They ran the ball every play. And that's not going to happen in the regular season, most likely. Not a scoring play or a scoring drive, at least. But again, that's kind of where Dillon Johnson got a lot of his yards. But yeah, I agree. I like the way that was handled. And I kind of like the way that the whole preseason has been handled. Again, I want to see the starters play. I do think there is some value to the starters having some preseason time, but the risk versus reward, especially with a gimpy O-line, I think this is kind of the way to go.
100%. I would like to see the starters selfishly, like you said. I also think there is a benefit to getting them out there and getting them in game time reps. But with a shaky O-line, I'm happy that the coaching staff feels confident as a rookie coach to come in and say, no, I'm not doing this. I don't feel comfortable like that. So I'm happy with that. Brandon King has a message in here. Love the show, guys, and you are the best Panthers content. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. We're trying.
I appreciate that. The podcast has been more entertaining than the actual Panthers games for the last several years. I will say that.
Yeah, I have more fun venting on the podcast than I do watching the games the past couple years. It's been kind of brutal.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, I mean, just kind of sticking on the defense here. You gave a shout out to Jamie Robinson. I thought Boodle looked good. Lamar Jackson had another good game. That Shaw Smith-Wade had a really good breakup in the end zone. Really, blanket defense in the end zone really looked good. But I think the one that impressed me the most, and he wasn't out there a ton, but Trevin Wallace.
Oh, yeah.
Really good. I'm really excited about that guy now.
Yeah.
Knowing that he's going to be a guy that gets a lot of playing time, too, in the regular season.
And he was the guy I was mentioned that I really want to kind of take a step in everything. So I was really excited about that, just because I did see that bright spot that I was hoping to see week 1, and it did. So overall, just really excited about that, to be honest with you, with the way he played.
Yeah, I mean, for 15, what is it, 15 and 12? Yeah, 15 and 12 game, where no starters played. I feel like there are a lot of takeaways here. But let's.
I guess YouTube's running an ad in 2 seconds. So please, we'll be right back.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, it'll come back, I guess. Negatively, Jake Plummer is not it, right?
Oh no, he's gone.
He's bad. Jake Luton, I don't think is much better, but I think maybe he should get the start next week.
Yeah.
in that final preseason game, right? Jack Plummer's just not good.
Yeah.
Not a good
No,
player.
I'll put it this way. There's quite a few guys that started and or have played a lot this preseason that if they have to start, I am terrified. Absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
Um, another chat, Stella says, hi, go Panthers. Hi, Stella.
Hi, Stella. All right. Another negative here. Special teams.
Oh,
Rough
yeah.
night.
Sexy
Rough night for the
Princess
special
Ryder
teams.
brought this up, and I haven't gotten to her quote. I'm assuming.
It's called a segue.
Yeah. Oh, and biggest negative was special teams. She said almost a block punt, allowed a huge return, and a blocker running into our own returner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That was
hit,
rough.
that self hit was brutal.
It was hard. Yeah. I mean, thank God he held onto the ball. But yeah, I thought really that the special teams for both teams wasn't that great because in terms of, well, for the Jets it was good on the return game, but kicking off they kept kicking it in the end zone. The Jets did.
Mm-hmm.
The Panthers were getting pretty good field position at the 30-yard line, which is one of the new rules. Touchback now goes to the 30-yard line. They're trying to discourage that, obviously. The NFL is. But yeah, I mean, you had 2 long returns, I think, for the Jets in the game. But on the flip side, the defense held, no touchdowns given up in this game for the defense. So
Yeah.
pretty good. They were able to kind of hold after those bad special teams mishaps.
Yeah, I do worry about the special teams. I know Chris Tabor's gone and everything, and this guy, the new coach, seems to be filling it out. I know he tried a couple different kickoffs that didn't work, but it is preseason. I'm just hoping.
Yeah, and if they're going to try different things, now's the time, right? Now's the time to try it. But just on those coverages, kickoff coverages, they're going to have to tighten some of that stuff up because there were some pretty big holes in there that they just let guys go through. Eddie P with a perfect night, so earned his job last week, and now he's kicking them straight through the uprights. All right, what else? What else you want to discuss here?
The interception. I'm trying to figure out what was his name. I'm sorry.
TJ Smith.
No, Damani Richardson. TJ Smith had a great game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He played a lot last week in preseason week one, and this week he only played the beginning, so I think he kind of solidified himself in the rotation of getting that 53-man roster. I don't think you basically take him out if he was still on the bubble.
Yeah, I mean, the only guy to get a sack in the game, so.
Yeah, I mean, he played 23 snaps, and that was all at the beginning, and he started, so.
Yeah. But yeah, the interception to Damani Richardson, I mean, just a terrible pass by that Jets quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, threw it right to Richardson. And I think the receiver, I mean, had he thrown that ball correctly, might have been a touchdown. That was, the receiver had a couple of steps. And that was kind of, I praised the secondary, but a lot of drop passes and a lot of bad throws on both sides, but from the Jets specifically, a wide open touchdown to their tight end that just a poor throw, and then the catch that, he couldn't keep his feet in bounds. And then there was a couple others, like on a 4th down, just drops the ball. And so, maybe a little lucky too, but I thought that the defense was kind of flying all over the place. It was really fast, looked really fast, hit hard, tackled fairly well. And again, we're talking about 2nd, 3rd, and 4th stringers here, and practice squad guys, and not on the roster guys. So the system looks good, I think.
Yeah. Got another chat in from Sexist Princess Rider. Do we have an injury up on the linebacker? That's their name. Who got injured? Who was that injured?
It sounded like you said sexist Princess Rider. That's why I was kind of laughing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it sounded like from Canales' post-game press conference that they didn't really have a ton of updates for the guys that got banged up. but it didn't
Yeah.
sound like there was anything catastrophic.
Yeah, Dave Canales didn't have any updates on Lamar Jackson or Tay Davis on his presser,
Hmm.
and I haven't heard anything today. So
Yeah. TBD.
yeah,
Not sure about that. But again, it sounded like from like Lamar Jackson, he was saying it wasn't a soft tissue thing. It was just they were just checking him out. So,
and I
regular
think
season
Lamar
game will be.
Jackson's already on this team, unless
Yeah,
they go and
I think
hire
so.
a bunch of corners. So I could easily see them saying, "Whoa, whoa, 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 let's hold him out."
Yeah, well, and one corner they're not going to be bringing in is Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
I mean that rumor's been there, but we've been pushing it. We've been hoping it was going to happen. I think every Panthers fan was hoping it was going to happen. He is now a member of the Vikings. So, unfortunately, that fail safe or backup plan or whatever you want to call it for Panthers fans is not going to happen. But on the flip side, again, Lamar Jackson's looked really good. Some of these
Lamar,
guys have looked pretty good in preseason. So maybe we're not quite as down bad as we thought, a couple of weeks ago.
yes, I agree. I'm kind of thinking they still need to bring somebody else in. In my opinion, I don't feel comfortable with basically Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Jameson, J.C. Horn, and Troy Hill. That's
Yeah.
especially with J.C. Horn's injuries, history, and everything. Why would you risk it?
Yeah, and we're coming up on cuts, and there will be corners that are cut. There will be good corners that are cut, or at least, average corners that are cut. I mean, we got Rasul Douglas one year after what
Mm-hmm.
cuts. Panthers are number one on the waiver wire. Like, they will be bringing some people in for sure. Um, Corner likely will be one of them. So, yeah, I agree. I don't think we've seen the last of the roster building when it comes to that position.
Now let's take a quick look at the box score for the game with the Jets and the Panthers. We'll just go over this real quick. Jets passing overall 14 out of 28, 85 yards, one interception. I'm not even going to go into their individual stats. It's not important.
I mean, they're almost identical anyway, except
Yeah.
for a couple of yards. Yeah. Just
Uh,
ugly performance.
ugly performance, honestly, by most of the players. I mean, again,
Right.
these are
On
third
offense.
stringers most
Yeah.
likely. Yeah, running back the same thing. They had Israel Abanikanda, averaged 4.8, 6 rushes, 29 yards. Other than that, nothing much. Andrew Peasley, the quarterback, had 4 for 25, but scrambling.
Yeah. I
Nothing.
mean, overall, 28 for 117 and 4.2 yards a carry. Not bad,
Mm-mm.
right? Not bad.
Um,
I mean, what?
I was gonna say nothing stands out offensively from the Jets that
No.
shocked me or
Yeah.
would make me excited as a Jets fan. But again, same with us. Nothing was exciting. It was nice that, like I said, Mingo, Terrace Marshall, and Sanders made some plays, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Jets, they had one sack. So, feels like the offensive line for the Panthers at least wasn't giving up a ton of sacks this week. Will McDonald, that's their first round pick from last year. He got that sack. So, pretty talented player there.
That reminds me, I need to talk about the Ricky Lee issue. We need to make sure we have somebody besides Ricky Lee out there. We are talking about how we don't feel comfortable with Jack Plummer. I would feel terrified if Ricky Lee has to play tackle at any point this season right now.
I still don't understand why Brady Christensen is not an option there.
I don't either.
Because, as we've talked about, like, he's looked pretty good when he's had the opportunity to play left tackle. So,
And why
that-
not, at this point, why not just make him that swing tackle, that backup tackle that you can plug and go? I mean, he's not starting at guard, so I don't think you need him at guard. He's not going to start anytime soon at guard with everybody that they signed, so it's just, why not?
Yeah.
I don't think he's better at guard than tackle, and honestly, I want someone protecting Bryce's blind side a little bit better than Ricky Lee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that would be a disaster. But again, cuts are coming. Who knows? Who knows what's going to be out there available? On the Panthers side here, excuse me. Again, Plummer, 11 for 18, 42 yards, an average of 2.3 yards per pass. That is awful.
Mm-hmm.
Awful. Luton, 2 for 2, 19 yards. Nothing there. Dylan Johnson, the guy we talked about earlier, 18 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown. Mike Boone, 6 for 22. So the Panthers crack 100 yards rushing as well. And then receiving, kind of spread out all over the place. You had Sanders technically leading the team, 2 catches for 22 yards. Marshall, a couple of catches for 14 yards. Then Smith Marset had 3 for 8 yards. Quiet game for Jordan Matthews. How many snaps did he have? Do you
Yeah,
have
I
that
got that. Give me one second.
handy?
Jordan Matthews. Oh, he didn't have many. So he had 18, which
Okay.
was one of the lowest for offensive players. I think he's made the roster.
Yeah.
With
Seems like
injury
it, right?
concerns, I feel like he's already made the roster. So they're just they took him out because there's not a point of getting somebody else hurt. I mean,
What about Sanders? How many did he have?
18.
So Sanders and Matthews both had 18?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So I think they're pretty evenly set, and I think with Ian Thomas and Trimble, you never know, man. Ian Thomas costs a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, for what he provides,
I think they could
he's
save close to $3
extremely
million.
overpaid.
So
yeah, they might need that to bring in another
Ooh.
offensive lineman or corner.
Sexy Princess Writer came back with our comment about Christensen. Canales' scheme doesn't suit Christensen. Strength at tackle, I guess. We saw how really good line in 2022 was a dog water in a wrong scheme. So
True.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. It just, I kind of wonder if that 2022, they just got lucky there, or with the health and everybody just kind of being together the whole year. I'm hoping that wasn't just an outlier, but again, most of that line is gone. So
yeah, I think it was scheme. I agree. I think scheme was a big part of that. Just ground and pound, just bully people away.
And they really caught their stride once Wilkes took over. So
yeah,
again, that the whole thing changed. And Canales has repeatedly said, and I believe has demonstrated, they want to be a running team. They want to run the ball. Something Frank Reich did not want to do last year. So, and then defensively, we mentioned Damani Richardson with the interception. TJ Smith had the sack. Jamie Robinson did lead the team in tackles. So I don't think there's really anything else to go over there. Yeah, I mean, I think for a preseason game, we spent plenty of time talking about the stats.
Yeah, no, we're fine. I was just going to hit on the PFF grades real quick, and then we can move on to our last little bit here.
Yep.
PFF grades, leader for offense was Jack Anderson, who actually started at right guard. So hats off to Jack Anderson. Don't know you, but you had a 90.3, so obviously you balled out in your 37 snaps.
Yeah.
I mean,
there you go.
We need depth there, and if you can provide it, great. Dylan Johnson, number 2. Felipe Franks with 17 snaps got 72. Mingo got a 71.8. If that one play, he probably would have gotten more. But Andrew Rame, the center that started, was number 5 at 68.7. Sanders at number 6. And then I'll just skip down. And lowest guys were actually Tyler Smith and Jordan Matthews. And no surprise, Ricky Lee. Ricky Lee is the new guy that's just not going.
Yeah, Matthews had like one catch for -1 yard. So that explains why he was down that far. What about defense?
Defense, Michael Barrett, middle linebacker, had 17 snaps, leading the way with an 81.2. Claudin Chairless, 29 snaps, 80.4. I thought number 53 was around the ball a lot. I didn't know who he was, but that is him. And I thought he played well. I thought he played really well and everything, because I kept seeing him around the ball. Damani Richardson with the lone interception at 73.6. Walter Palmore, 27 snaps, 73.4. He must be one of those big guys that you don't see but makes great plays, like for what he's asked to do. And then TJ Smith, who nose tackled
Mm.
23 snaps. I think he made it a roster in the past 2 weeks in his preseason play.
Mm-hmm.
Then Lamar Jackson. So low man on the totem pole is Alex Cook. Kind of surprising because they've been talking him up a lot at strong safety.
Yeah.
Uh,
How many
then
snaps did he have?
29. And
Okay.
Leota had a 40.1 in 33 snaps.
Mm. Yeah, only
Not
one tackle for him this week.
so. My apologies. I thought he didn't play
Okay.
that much. I just assumed they just pulled him.
Well, yeah, he just disappeared on his own, I guess. Yeah, that's unfortunate. We were hoping for big things from him, but might not be the case. One bad preseason game does not derail your entire career, but this is a guy who is fighting to make a roster spot. You don't want to have games like this, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah. And then Cherilus, who you mentioned, he was second on the team in tackles with 4, so he did
Yeah.
have a good game.
All right. We're gonna quickly hit on the positives or the heroes and zeros as much as we can, and then we'll probably get out of here as we're about to end our time. So,
It's-
who do you want as your hero in zero?
Oh man, well, I'll go ahead and kick it off with my 0, so I can end on a positive note, and we're just gonna go with Plummer. I think he is not ready for the NFL. If he makes the practice squad, that is, I think, the ceiling for him, certainly for the next couple of years. But he's just, it's just bad. So he's my 0.
Nope, I completely agree with you on Jack Plummer. He's my 0, but I have another 0. Amir Smith Marset. I'm gonna throw him out there. I felt like he had multiple opportunities this week and last week, and he's just not shining. I know that he's not a typical player, but I was expecting more from him. For 31 snaps, he had like 2 catches,
3 for 8.
3 for 8,
yards.
and then he also had that pass interference call on the Mingo play.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a pass interference. You're not allowed to make contact when the ball's in the air like that.
Yeah.
So I'm worried about him making this roster because, like we discussed, it's between David Moore, Amir Smith Marset, and Terrace Marshall Jr. And out of those 3 right now, I think he's the low man on the totem pole, and I think he has some special abilities. So
Yeah, I mean, if it does come down to him or David Moore, it's kind of just going to be who's the better special teams player, really, because it doesn't seem like either one are going to contribute too much in the passing game. My hero, or let's do your hero. Who's your hero?
Well, I have like 3 potential heroes. That's my biggest problem. So I'm going to go
Okay.
with TJ Smith
Okay.
with the lone sack. He made some plays and got out of there. So that's what I'll just leave with TJ Smith.
Okay. I'm going to give a little love to the offense, and I'm going to go Dylan Johnson. He's going to be my
one of
hero. I mean,
3.
he's scored the only touchdown in the entire game at the very end, but it was impressive the way he did it, right? I mean, he broke a couple of tackles and then just basically brought 2 guys into the end zone with him. So very nice job there. I don't know. I'm kind of excited by him. Like, I hope that he somehow sticks around, be it a practice squad or just a guy on the team who's inactive every week. I don't think he'll make the actual roster, just because it seems like that's kind of set when it comes to the running back position. But I do hope they find some way to keep him around.
100%. I'm going to go ahead and throw out my other hero just because I believe that, preseason, these guys earn it. They're not the guys we talk about a lot, so I'm going to reach out to Jamie Robinson. I thought he played a great game. He got a BS call on him. Hard hitter. I know he was a draft pick, 5th round draft pick last year, I believe, and not much was done with him, but he's looked good this preseason. He had a heck of a game last night.
Yeah, and I'll throw Lamar Jackson in there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Just another really good game from him. Definitely has earned his spot on the roster, it seems like. So, yeah, heroes and zeros.
All right, we got 4 minutes before we go, and I'm
All right,
gonna read.
one thing real quick here.
Okay.
We got Sexy Princess Rider. Right?
Oh, you're right. You're on the chat now.
He or she wanted to provide their hero for the game. Dave Canales enjoyed how he handled the game and his scheme, even while vanilla. Is that a concepts that they like? Zero is Plummer. Yeah, that's a good one. He needs to go to the UFL for now. Yeah, that might be a good spot for him to get some reps, right? I agree, and actually, Canales talked on the post-game press conference a little bit about. He was asked about the scheme and if it was, are they putting everything into these games? Which we understand they probably aren't. But he said basically that from the running game perspective, that's what it's going to look like, right? There's a couple wrinkles here and there that they might throw in, but running game, that's what they're going to look like, and then kind of everything else is predicated off of that. So, hopefully it looks better in the regular season, but it seems like this is the offense that we're going to be seeing every week.
Yeah. All right. So, I want to thank everyone here that joined us on our first, live stream. We're learning as we go. I didn't realize I needed to post something to get it set up until like 10 minutes. That's why the warning. Sexy Princess Rider, loved your feedback. Joe Face, Stella, we love you. Brandon King, thank you for checking in and writing. So just want to thank everybody. We're trying to grow and trying to learn how to do new things. And this was one thing that we're going to try to do coming up in, regular season and try to get more interactions.
Yeah, we're going to try to do this more often for sure. A lot of fun. Definitely, as Jerry said, appreciate the chats. And Carl D just popped up here. A few content creators had the nerve to say Plummer was picked up in UDFL to replace Bryce. Yeah, that was never the case.
No,
sure. I don't know. I would maybe steer away from those content creators if that's the opinion you're getting.
I'm not going to bash other content creators. I don't know who you're talking about, but I do know that some people like to say outlandish things just to get a click or, clickbait. I try not to do that. I try to say what I honestly think, but
this is not a hot take podcast.
No,
right?
No,
this is just two dudes talking football.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not going to sit here and say Panthers are Super Bowl bound. No, they're not. But I do think Jack Plummer needs more seasoning to become something. I think Luton's a better quarterback right now, so I think he should get the third spot over him.
Agreed.
I want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMixPodcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube.
We'll be back towards the end of the week to talk preseason finale. And until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding. Jay, what's up, man? Thank you. Love you.